NBC4 News at 4 starts with breaking news.
And we begin with that breaking news from Texas, where there's been a mass shooting at an elementary school. Thank you so much for being with us, everyone. I'm Michael Brownlee.
And I'm Carolyn Johnson. Here's a look at what we know right now. The gunman killed 14 students and one teacher. Law enforcement tells us that shooter was an 18-year-old, and it's believed police killed him when they responded to the scene of that elementary school. The governor says the shooter was armed with a handgun and possibly a rifle as well.
This all taking place in the small town of Uvalde, Texas, about 90 miles west of San Antonio. NBC4's John Kedis-Klimek begins our team coverage here this afternoon live from our newsroom. John.
Michael, the information coming from Uvalde is heartbreaking for those families. 14 school children. This is a school of second, third, and fourth graders. 14 of them are dead. One teacher is dead. The lone gunman, an 18-year-old high school student named Salvador Ramos, is dead. And we've learned that Ramos shot his grandmother before the school rampage, but we don't know yet if she survived. What we did get is an update from a local hospital there. There's a 66-year-old woman in critical condition and a 10-year-old girl also in critical condition right now. So there are more victims to this. Robb Elementary School is in that small town of Uvalde, Texas. That's 90 miles west of San Antonio. Most people who live there are Spanish speakers. The median income is under $20,000 a year. Robb Elementary was getting ready to let out for the summer. Thursday was supposed to be the last day of school. Texas Governor Greg Abbott broke the news of who was lost in this tragedy and made it a point to say this about the families affected personally.
When parents drop their kids off at school, they have every expectation to know that they're going to be able to pick their child up when that school day ends. And there are families who are in mourning right now. And the state of Texas is in mourning with them for the reality that these parents are not going to be able to pick up their children.
Locally, California Governor Gavin Newsom clearly frustrated in a tweet you can see on your screen there, blaming the Republican Party for a lack of action and calling this latest mass shooting preventable, while also calling for nationwide comprehensive common sense gun safety laws. Now, we're waiting word now from Washington. President Biden has been briefed on what happened and is expected to speak at 5:15 our time. We will, of course, bring that to you live when it happens. He has called for the American flag to be lowered to half-staff to honor the victims in Texas. Guys, back to you in the studio.
All right, John, appreciate it. Thank you. NBC4 investigative reporter Lolita Lopez continues updating coverage live from our News Operations Center. And Lolita, you have more on the shooter here, huh?
Yeah, Michael, we've learned actually that the shooter in this case had just turned 18 years old earlier this month. And the Texas Governor Greg Abbott there said he lived in the city of Uvalde. And actually, it's reported that he also attended the very elementary school where this all happened, Robb Elementary School. We want to show you a picture now of Salvador Ramos, who was killed apparently by police when they responded to the shooting at Robb Elementary School. According to the Texas Governor Greg Abbott, it is believed Ramos abandoned his car, went into the school with the handgun, and may have also had a rifle. Authorities are in the process of seeing how he got his weapons and if he was allowed to legally own them. It is unclear why Ramos went to the school and started shooting. We do know from the governor that he did shoot his grandmother before going to the elementary school, and it is believed Ramos acted alone. And I know that John and everyone have been saying this, but Uvalde is a really small community, population of just a little over 15,000. Think of it like the size of El Segundo here in California. This is a community where everyone knows each other. In fact, when a reporter from NBC arrived at the location there, he parked in front of a home, and a person came out of that home and said, you know, the teacher killed at the elementary school, that was my niece. Guys, back to you.
Just so tough to process. Lolita, thank you. Now, of course, the conversation on gun control has already started. We heard what Governor Newsom had to say, and moments ago, Connecticut Senator and avid gun control supporter Chris Murphy spoke on the Senate floor.
These kids weren't unlucky. This only happens in this country and nowhere else. Nowhere else do little kids go to school thinking that they might be shot that day. Nowhere else do parents have to talk to their kids, as I have had to do, about why they got locked into a bathroom and told to be quiet for 5 minutes just in case a bad man entered that building. Nowhere else does that happen except here in the United States of America.